It's been ring out the old and bring in the new in Speed Weeks 92. It started 8 days ago when Jeff Bodine gave his new car owner, Bud Moore, a victory in the Busch Clash. 2 hours later, it was Jimmy Horton's turn to triumph for a brand new team in the ARCA 200. Thursday in the first Gatorade Twin 125, Dale Earnhardt got a little help from a Chevy friend to make it 3 in a row, while Bill Elliott gave new boss Junior Johnson a win in the second qualifying race. Friday in the NASCAR Dash Subcompact Series, Maxie Busch ended an 11-year losing streak with a dominating win. And then you need a ruler to measure Dale Earnhardt's margin of victory in round 1 of the International Race of Champions. And finally, yesterday, Earnhardt hit pay dirt again for the 3rd straight year in the Goodys 300 Grand National Race. Today, it's the Daytona 500, and this is Race Day. And good morning, everyone. I'm Pat Patterson, and we are here live at Daytona International Speedway, where in just a few minutes, the world's best stock car drivers will battle in NASCAR's biggest race. Now, for our longtime viewers, I'm sure you noticed we've changed our name to Race Day. We think that explains a little better what we're about, and it's giving you the last word before the drop of the green flag. Then, just like always, at 6:30 Eastern, we'll have a wrap-up on the day in racing. Race Day has a whole new look, and we think you'll enjoy it. All right, the Daytona 500 by STP is just minutes away from starting, but it's been a bruising week for a number of teams. 6 frontline cars were wiped out Wednesday, including A.J. Foyt, Brett Bodine, and Davey Allison in several incidences. So, a number of backup cars were dusted off and prepared for battle in the Gatorade Twin 125-mile qualifiers Thursday. Here's Mark Allen.
If you listen to the GM drivers in the garage last Sunday, they were saying the Fords could lap the field in the 125s, but Dale Earnhardt had his Chevy in the thick of the action from the get-go. A backmarker's dream, that's the best way to describe Alan Kowicki's lap 5 crash, which wiped out half a dozen top cars. That ultimately allowed a number of also-rans to make the 500 field. Richard Petty's final 125 ended on the spot. 500 pole-sitter Sterling Marlin and Earnhardt were nose to tail when the nose of the black 3 got into the tail of the blue 22. Marlin hit nothing, but with nothing to gain by returning, called it an afternoon. Dale Jarrett gave new car owner Joe Gibbs a taste of what repair bills will be like this year. Kyle Petty had nowhere to go. The last lap, Mark Martin carried the Ford banner up front. Earnhardt and 91 500 champ Ernie Irvan waved the Chevy flag. Though Irvan couldn't win, he could affect who did, and the choice was easy. Tuck in behind Earnhardt and help the Goodwrench driver to his 3rd straight 125 triumph. The biggest surprise of the top 5 was Greg Sachs, who had a strong debut in the Kellogg's Chevy. Harry Gant was 5th. The second 125 was all Ford, with Bill Elliott and the red number 11 in command throughout from the pole. Number 28 Davey Allison came from the back in a backup car to challenge the Bud driver. And number 21 Morgan Shepherd showed surprising strength. But on the final laps, Elliott repeatedly broke the draft to keep the hounds from overtaking him. It was his 3rd 125 win. Ricky Rudd was the first GM finisher in 4th, with Michael Waltrip 5th. This is Mark Allen reporting for Race Day.
And so based on the 125s and pole qualifying, here are the first 10 starters for the Daytona 500 by STP. Sterling Marlin will pace the field in his Maxwell House Coffee Ford, while new stablemate Bill Elliott has outside front row honors. Dale Earnhardt on the inside of row 2 in search of his first Daytona 500 win. And next to him is Morgan Shepherd, who also has yet to triumph at Daytona. On row 3 are a pair of Fords with Mark Martin starting his Valvoline entry 5th, and Davey Allison looking to improve on a 2nd place finish here in 1988. The 4th row belongs to defending 500 champion Ernie Irvan and Ricky Rudd in the Hendrick Motorsports Tide Chevrolet. Starting 9th will be Greg Sachs, who had a strong finish in the first qualifier. And outside row 5 will be Michael Waltrip, the highest starter among the Pontiac entries. Now, a burning question all week has been whether the Fords are beatable. We talked with several drivers right after the 125s and got this sampling of opinion.
You know, I run behind Elliott there for about 10, 15 laps, and I could run with him good. It wasn't like he was driving away from me, and he never would have had my car not started pushing. Matter of fact, I felt like I probably could have maybe got up alongside him. But my car progressively got tighter, and when it got tighter, finally had to breathe the throttle, and that's why they drove off there at one spell. But we can race these guys, but I got to make sure my car is handling.
Well, I don't know. I think that they're awful close, really. I think that they can run with them.
Saw Dale dominate that first race, and you know, there was some other Chevrolets I can't recall right now in the first race that ran really strong, and some in my race too. And yeah, I mean, you bet. You know, the draft situation's a whole different thing, and they can run just as strong as we can.
Joining me again is our cohort, Dick Berggren, editor of Stock Car Racing Magazine. And Dick, a lot of issues over in the garage, but there are three real important ones this morning.
And probably the biggest issue over in the garage this morning is whether today will be Dale Earnhardt's day. He's been here 26 times, Pat. He's only won once in Daytona in a Winston Cup car. And today it doesn't matter whether you're talking to a sponsor, a car owner, or another driver. The guy everybody is talking about is Dale Earnhardt. Well,
there are some other major stories, and we're going to get to those a little bit later on in the show, but right now one of them that's building is the weather, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, but the weather here is going to be a major factor.
It definitely is. We've got overcast right now, and we're hearing two weather forecasts, Pat. One of them is that it's going to be sunny and mild, and that would favor the cars going in the direction of loose. If we get sunny and mild, that's going to help the General Motors cars. On the other hand, the second weather forecast is that it's going to be cloudy and overcast. That would help the Fords.
All right, more on the weather when we come back. When Race Day returns, we'll have highlights from the Grand National season opener. But first, here's the rest of the starting lineup for the 34th annual Daytona 500 by STP. Stay with us.
Just a reminder, proper maintenance with AC Delco parts can significantly reduce premature wrinkles. AC Delco, it's like buying time.
I drive a race car for a living. I depend on the parts and pieces in my car. And I feel so confident knowing that Pennzoil is protecting the moving parts inside of my engine. Pennzoil's quality and protection give me the confidence I need to do my job without second thought. I've never had a problem with viscosity breakdown using Pennzoil. Their motor oil is the best against viscosity breakdown. That's why I have the confidence to use it on the street and in my race car. Pennzoil, performance, protection, quality.
Napoleon, what was your hand in the jacket? People are talking.
Josephine, my briefs are killing me.
Oh, I have just the thing.
Fruit of the loom.
Totally comfortable.
Hey, c'est magnifique, eh?
How about that waistband?
It's super comfortable, mais oui.
And that soft pre-shrunk cotton?
Feels great, down to the skin.
Ooh la la.
For classic comfort, pick Fruit of the Loom briefs.
No, leave the hat on.
Next Sunday, live on TNN Motorsports. Get ready. It's the first live NASCAR race of TNN Motorsports 92 season. All your fave BGN drivers will be here. Plus Ken Schrader, Ernie Irvan, 91 defending champ Bobby Labonte, and...
Hi, this is Darrell Waltrip, and I'll see you at Hickory.
The green flag drops at 2 Eastern. It's the first short track race of the season. Mountain Dew 500 next Sunday, live 2 p.m. Eastern, only on TNN Motorsports.
Welcome back to Race Day, live from Daytona, everybody. I'm Pat Patterson. You know, there was a big question that many of the General Motors teams had this week concerning their new cylinder heads. The question, were the new ones, which many teams have chosen to use this week, as good as the old ones? GM's racing boss says they're just fine.
There's a professional jealousy or a gap between the engineers from Detroit versus the engineers on the race teams. So we've had a constant challenge to verify to them, to substantiate the data, to make them comfortable that it's a durable, good performing part. And obviously yesterday, the fact that car number 3 and 4 were able to do as well as they did in the first 125 was a great sigh of relief for the engineers and the Motorsports Technology Group.
Now, not everybody from NASCAR has been down here this week. In the Winston Cup shops all over the Southeast, there were crew people who had to stay behind and get ready for the next race. Thursday's 125s were in many ways tougher on those crews than the ones in Daytona. Stephanie Boyd explains.
It's qualifying day in Daytona, but at Darrell Waltrip's shop in Charlotte, North Carolina, it's business as usual. There are parts to build and race cars to complete. These guys may be the ones left behind to do it, but the right kind of distraction still gets their attention.
Come on, DW.
At Sabco Racing, tool cart radios bring the work to a temporary halt. Driver Kyle Petty has his mellow yellow Pontiac on the move, and the guys back in Charlotte are listening to every word. Then it happens.
So Kyle Petty getting caught up in a crash here this afternoon, and it is a shame, Eli, because he had come from 17th all the way up to about 6th position when that accident happened.
Now reality has to beat out disappointment.
The big season's coming up, and there's a lot of races in a row coming up here, and we got a few test dates in between, and if we got to work on. It's only one race.
The crew from Bobby Allison's shop decided to have their lunch while listening to the qualifying race. When driver Hut Strickland hit the grass, though, the news was tough to swallow.
That's extremely hard. You can see half my sandwich not finished for that reason. It ruined my appetite. We worked hard and, gave it our best effort. And to go down there and have something like this happen, it's just hard to take.
Back at the Waltrip shop, a 6th place finish was all right with these guys. It put their driver and owner in starting position 12 for today's 500, and it put a smile on their faces to finish a hard day's work while they hold down the fort for the season to come. This is Stephanie Boyd reporting for Race Day.
Of course, we'll have more on the 500 in just a few minutes. Meanwhile, yesterday, the Busch Grand National season got underway with the Goodys 300, and as usual, the sprinkling of Winston Cup crossovers had an impact. Neil Kassabaum has the story.
Number 30, Michael Waltrip, roared into the first lap lead from his pole position, with number 36, Kenny Wallace, right behind. The early lap saw a number of lead changes between number 3, Dale Earnhardt, and Busch regulars number 87, Joe Nemechek, and number 27, Ward Burton. The 300 has been known in the past as a wild affair, but the racing was mostly uneventful until lap 32, when number 39, Robert Huffman, tangled with number 79, Dave Rezendes, in turn 2. Huffman was taken to a local hospital for treatment of burns, while Rezendes wasn't injured. The second fiery incident of the day occurred on lap 76 when Joe Nemechek's excellent run ended as his engine blew, setting off a 10-car accident in turn 4. Nemechek also was treated at a local hospital for burns. And in a one-car incident, veteran Grand National campaigner Jimmy Hensley slammed hard into the turn 4 wall and received a hairline fracture of his right foot. After the restart, the show belonged to the Winston Cup regulars Earnhardt and Irvin. The defending Winston Cup champion led the last 48 laps, even though Irvin beat him off the pit road twice. The surprise of the day was number 27, Ward Burton, in his first Superspeedway appearance, who stayed with the leaders all day. A last lap slingshot did not materialize as the top 5 racers remained in single file for the final 2.5-mile circuit, and Earnhardt took his 5th Grand National victory at Daytona, tying him with Darrell Waltrip's record of Grand National wins there. Following Irvin, who finished 2nd, was Burton 3rd, Winston Cup regular Jimmy Spencer 4th, and 5th went to Grand National driver Robert Presley. I'm Neil Kassabaum reporting for Race Day.
Now let's update you on the drivers injured in those wrecks. Robert Huffman is hospitalized with second-degree burns of the face and upper body. Meanwhile, Jimmy Hensley sustained fractured right foot and ribs, but was held overnight for observation, and his blood pressure also has fluctuated. Joe Nemechek was treated and released for minor burns and eye irritation. Coming up next on Race Day, we've already had one of the great races of the year. Highlights of the IROC season opener are next when we come back from Daytona.
Anything you can handle, we can handle. Yokohama High Performance Tires.
Could you set fire to your car, burn it with acid, spray it with paint, then wipe away the burn, buff off the acid, and polish off the paint? Can this be magic? Yes, the magic of DD Auto from the makers of DD7. Others have made these claims, but we guarantee DD Auto to be the finest, the easiest car polish you will ever use or your money back. Even bird droppings, tar, and grease wipe away with ease. Cleaning chrome was never this easy. And DD Auto brings back the vibrance to the oldest paintwork. Use DD Auto in the home to protect mirrors, brass, and bathroom tiles. You will save money when you replace all these with DD Auto. Yours on this special television offer for $19.95. And we'll include a second bottle free. But there's more. The vinyl roof, leather and vinyl seats, dash and tires will gleam with just a touch of DD Auto vinyl and leather enhancer. Also yours at no additional charge. And to keep that shine dry and streak-free, this super absorbent chamois is also yours. The DD Auto Car Care Kit, 2 polish, the vinyl leather enhancer, and super chamois, all for $19.95. Have your credit card ready. Here's how to order.
Have your credit card ready and call 1-800-257-0800. You can also save COD charges by sending $19.95 for the complete kit, plus $4.95 shipping to DD Auto, P.O. Box 10030, Stamford, Connecticut.
Night after night on Nashville Now, it's a who's who of country music, or even a who's gonna be. Rising stars, superstars, living legends, and familiar friends. You'll see them all if you're watching Nashville Now, live, weeknights at 9, 8 Central, only on TNN. The boys are back, February 23rd on TNN.
Welcome back to the World Center of Speed, Daytona Beach, Florida. The International Race of Champions brings together 12 of the best drivers in the business for the opener, and in the opener on Friday, it had a world-class finish. On the last lap, the white Dodge of Ricky Rudd is leading, with the light blue of Dale Earnhardt stuck behind him on the high side. That's Harry Gant in the red Dodge going low. Side by side, they battle when Earnhardt, seemingly out of it, hey, wait a minute. A great move. Dale down low, and he wins a thriller by 5 feet in one of the greatest finishes ever in the IROC series.
Gant came up on the inside, sort of shut me out, and I come off forward, sort of boxed in, and my car picked up momentum. I said, well, I just cut to the bottom, and I started at the bottom hoping there wasn't anybody there. I didn't know whether there were anybody behind Gant or not. There was room to get by. We drafted on the inside. I couldn't plan it any better, even though it wasn't planned. It was great.
Gant nipped Rudd in the photo for second, with Davey Allison finishing. Gant and Rudd were second, rather. Davey Allison finishing fourth. They were tied, and they split the points, and we'll have more on that later. Hurley Haywood was the first non-NASCAR finisher. Round 2 is scheduled in Talladega in May. Now, joining us here is a fellow who had the best seat in the house on the last lap, Unser Jr. Looked like a lot of fun out there, was it?
Yeah, we enjoyed it, Pat. It was, we were hanging right in there for the whole race, and then everybody got ready for the last lap, and I chose the wrong person to stay behind. So
it was really a choosing situation, because a lot of times you really just don't know who to go with.
It really was. It was single file for the whole race, and then coming off of going into 3, coming off the backstretch, it suddenly became 4, 5, 6 cars right all side by side playing with each other. So.
Well, I know you love the IROC series, and you're a longtime veteran of it now, been running it for quite a while, and we wish you the very best this year. I hope it's a great series for you, but I'll just bet you that as Al Unser sits up here with me right now, he'd a lot rather be over there with a uniform on, getting ready to tee it up with these guys for the Daytona 500.
You bet. The Daytona 500 is really a tradition in America, and ever since I was a little kid, it was one of those races that I would long time dream about being in. So.
But you haven't done it yet. Do you think you will someday?
Someday, I think so. Yeah, if we can talk one of those good car owners over there into letting me drive their stock car, we'd do it.
How about this Galmer chassis? You ready for the kart season?
Very much so. The Galmer is coming along really good. We're running a Chevrolet engine, which it's not the latest Chevy, but it's going to be okay. The Ford Cosworth is awfully strong. The new Chevy's awfully strong. But in my whole team, I figure I got a better team, and that's what wins races is the whole team effort.
I was just getting ready to say, the Valvoline people really, your team has put forth such a good effort the last couple of years. Is this another, can this be another championship year for you and these guys?
Well, I sure hope so. We've got all the makings of it. I was watching, we've changed the crews around a little bit. We've gotten rid of some people, got some people in from some other teams, and I was looking at my guys, and this is the best bunch of guys I've ever had working on my race car.
Has testing been basically what you wanted it to be so far to this point?
No, not really. We have struggled a little bit with the Galmer. We've found some problems in it that we're now fixing, and so these next two tests are very critical to us, and we just got it working at Big Springs, and then we had a little bit of problem that shut us down, but we're ready to go racing.
All right, good luck to you this year. Glad you spent some time with us. I know you want to get over there and see the start of this one like everybody else does.
Thank you.
Well, the NASCAR Dash Series also kicked off its season Friday, and a dark horse galloped to victory in a subcompact car 200-miler.
Leading a pack of 44 cars for the green flag were number 23 Jeff Collier and number 22 Maxie Busch on the front row. But it was Busch who proved to have the dominant car, leading 40 of 80 laps to start his 11th Dash season. The unsponsored Ford driver was holding a strong lead when the fourth yellow flag of the day fell to end the race under caution.
We thought we'd have it a little bit easier with another car to draft with, but he fell out right at the start of the race, so we had to pretty well run wide open all day as hard as we could go. We got a little bit behind on the first pit stop, and we had to work real hard to get that back, but after that, everything seemed to work out all right.
Rounding out the top five were Will Hobgood, Kevin Brookshire, George Crenshaw, and Johnny Chapman.
Among other racing that's been going on in the Sunshine State this week has been the World of Outlaws, where a man with the nickname the Buckeye Bullet has dominated.
Although pavement races are unusual for this series, the king of the outlaws, Steve Kinzer, is always tough. In his number 11, Kinzer stole the lead on the first lap from pole sitter 7C Dave Blaney. By lap 9, Blaney worked hard to pass Kinzer, who was caught up in lap traffic, with Kinzer lighting up the tires of his Valvoline sprint car to hold on to first. On the next lap, the Buckeye Bullet tried again and made a clean pass. Kinzer developed a vibration and continued to fall back as number 1, Sammy Swindell, became the only other challenger. On the final lap, Swindell made like a drag racer in an attempt to narrow the gap, but Blaney's lead was too much to overcome. His victory was the second in 2 nights of racing, with the 2 wins worth over $12,000. Blaney credited the car's setup with the victory.
You know, we come in Sunday and practiced, and we hit the car real fast right out of the trailer, and I'll tell you, we didn't work on it all week. We left it alone, and you know, we just had the car that was easiest on the tires, and by feature time both days, that's what paid off.
Following Blaney and Swindell were third place Joey Allen, fourth was Danny Smith, and fifth spot went to Andy Hillenberg. I'm Neil Kassabaum reporting for Race Day.
All right, race fans, a special program note tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern here on TNN, a special edition of Inside Winston Cup Racing live from Daytona. Host Ned Jarrett will take your calls at the toll-free number on the screen. One of Ned's guests will be Richard Petty, who's about to run his last Daytona 500. Now, coming up next Sunday at 7:30 Eastern, live for the first time ever, the final rounds of the NHRA Motorcraft Nationals from Firebird International Raceway. Make a note on your calendar and put it right here on TNN. We'll be back to Daytona after this.
Of sub-freezing. It's your boss on the phone. He says, do you still work here or not?
I called the airline like you said, and sure, there's a later flight. Tomorrow.
When you just can't wait to get started, start with a Champion. Pound for pound, the most powerful automotive battery you can buy. Get your Champion now by calling 1-800-289-4627 for a dealer near you.
Call now to order the very best from Main Event Entertainment. Crash and Crunch, the video. This brutal video takes you where an admission pass never will. Unbelievable crashes and heart-pounding action. Funny cars and stock cars explode with excitement. Crank up the volume and turn on the big screen. This is the ultimate party tape. Call now to order Crash and Crunch, the video. This red-hot video will blow you away. Grab a seat Hold on and play it loud.
Call now for Crash and Crunch for only $19.95. For faster delivery, please have your credit card ready. These videos make the perfect gift. That's 1-800-445-9922. 1-800-445-9922. Don't wait. Call now.
From surf fishing off the coast of Costa Rica to fun fishing on the Great Lakes, angling adventure can be found everywhere. To the far Canadian north, to the Venezuelan jungles, angling adventure offers thrills for every man, woman, and child. For great fishing excitement and education, there's one show that offers it all. In Fisherman Angling Adventures, 12 noon Eastern, only on TNN Sports Sunday.
Welcome back to Race Day, live from Daytona Beach, Florida, where in just a few minutes, the 500 will get underway. And Dick Bergeron is back with us. I've seen drops of rain already coming down. This is going to make a big difference in people's strategy.
It really is, Pat. And one of the real questions is, what did people do this morning as far as their prediction of what the weather was going to do?
We'll run down a couple quick changes. Bobby Hillen changed the whole motor this morning. Sterling Marlin. Now, here's an interesting one. The pole sitter changed the rear end this morning and a trailing arm, which means he was trying to tighten the car up. Was he playing for, the heat this afternoon?
Well, you've got springs, you've got spoiler, you've got a lot of things you can change, Pat. Only a few of them that you can change during the race, and the spoiler is about the only thing that they can adjust, and the wedge during the race.
All right, 30 seconds or so. Can Earnhardt win it?
Yeah, Earnhardt can definitely win it. I talked to Richard Childress this morning, and I asked him who else could win it. He named both the juniors' cars, and he named Mark Martin.
All right, Dick Bergeron, that says it takes a thief to catch a thief. And Gary Nelson, NASCAR's new technical boss, has caught some pretty creative engineering these past 9 days. Rusty Wallace's car, detected with illegal jack bolts, and Rick Mast had an illegal windshield with spacers. Harry Gant's Oldsmobile was too low, and Stanley Smith was cited for an illegal fuel line. Improper rear deck lids were discovered on A.J. Foyt and Jimmy Means' machine, as well as Jimmy Spencer's. But all these infractions came last weekend, and since then, teams have behaved themselves well, even by NASCAR's own admission. All right, we're out of time this week, but this afternoon at 6:30, this morning rather, we'll be back this afternoon at 6:30 when Race Day will have an in-depth look at this year's Daytona 500 by STP, which everybody knows this is Richard Petty's last before retiring. I'm Pat Patterson. We hope you enjoy the race. We'll see you later back this afternoon after the 500 here on TNN.
In Fisherman Angling Adventures, next. Whether trolling the backwater or casting in peace.